Seiichi Hiragi has been transported to another world. Suddenly a hot, busty, naked girl clings onto him and wants to marry him. He can't believe his eyes because in the previous world, he was a fat, ugly, stinky bully victim. One day, some so-called god made an announcement over the entire school. He will transport everyone to another world and give them certain skills. He advised them to form groups, and Seiichi is left out since his stats are the lowest. As Seiichi is the last to be transported, God gives him another skill. Seiichi finds himself in the jungle, having not eaten for 5 days. In that time, he comes across a mysterious fruit that tastes horrible but satisfies his hunger. Then he spots a group of smart monkeys. Once they're gone, he steals those fruits and the healing potions they were making. Meanwhile, we see the other students being transported to some other city. Karen Kanazuki and her friends are worried he was teleported somewhere else. Seiichi thought he was going to die from food poisoning, but it seems the fruit of evolution saved his life. Suddenly, he is attacked by a monkey. There is no match for it, but his body odor killed it. It drops a lot of goodies. With his first step in evolution, Seiichi evolves into a thinner version, though his stats are still low. For 5 months, Seiichi fights and defeats monsters to level up, until the group of monkeys returns. This time he is forced to fight a huge pink gorilla, Saria. Thanks to all her skills, Seiichi is able to dodge her first attack. This amazes Saria, even more so when he withstands her attacks. She gets more interested in him and wants strong guys. Seiichi continues to fight, but as he finds himself at the losing end, he finally uses his trump card, which is his body odor. Well, it didn't well. In fact, Saria loves it, stops the fight, and takes him away. She wants to marry him now. So Saria and Seiichi are playing house now, since Saria cooks for him and even washes his clothes. Apparently, she learned all this stuff from a book she found in a cave. That's how she could talk, too. Seiichi panics when she says she is going hunting with her monkeys to find the fruits of evolution. Apparently, if you eat 11, you will die. Seiichi and Saria both ate 10 already. She was planning to give the extras to her husband, but some bastard stole them. She'll kill him if she finds him. Seiichi confessed that he is the one who stole the fruit, but Saria forgives him. Meanwhile, we see the students in training. It seems they were summoned to fight the demon lord, so for now they are honing their abilities. Some of them are impatient and want to fight real monsters. Seiichi continues to run from Saria, but she is chasing him not because she is possessive of him, but to warn him about the direction he is headed. Too late. Seiichi stumbles into a dungeon that is being occupied by the Skeletor demon lord Xenos. He is disappointed that Seiichi is weak, and as he is about to kill him, Saria protects him and gets stabbed. Seiichi becomes sad and enraged. Seiichi admits he loves Saria, and that true power is what enables him to defeat Xenos, who is grateful for showing him true love. Xenos dies and is reunited with his maid, Marie. At this point, Saria turns into the hot, naked babe that we know. Now there is more loot to pick up and skills to obtain. That is when Seiichi goes through his final evolution. More handsome and cooler. As Seiichi plans to leave the forest, Saria will follow him too. Edward Ryusenstein Balhead Hibatos, also known as Sheep, who is the dungeon admin, pops up to congratulate them on clearing this dungeon. They are rewarded with a cultivation set at the Fruits of Evolution as well as a special full-face helmet for Seiichi. Sheep then teleports them outside the forest. It's time for a new adventure. After defeating a slime, more loot drops, and Seiichi levels up. He gives the boots to Saria, but there's a letter for him. It turns out all this was planned by Sheep. His helmet has evolved into a robe, so he is able to hide his status and identity without using the helmet. At the gates of the royal capital, Telbert, Claude Schreiser has them take some sort of identity test since one cannot enter without one. They passed but still need to get a proper identity card from a guild inside. Seiichi peeks into this guild. The sign says it's a guild, but it only has weirdos. They think of looking elsewhere, but the guild master, Guskel Clute, pushes them in. Eris McLean is the receptionist. After registering them, a group of punks enter to take Seiichi away. They go to see their boss, but it turns out these punks are perverts, and this is going to be Seiichi's welcome party. Seiichi manages to get back, and this astounds Guskel and Eris since no one has ever escaped unscathed before. The next task is to appraise their abilities to see what kind of quests suit them. But the only one who can do that now is Artoria Glemm. At first, she refuses to take the job, but since they insist, Artoria takes them to a church and leaves Saria with a task. Then she has Seiichi follow her. Seiichi notices how she saves a kid from some falling wood. Although she anticipated it, she still feels sad about it. Seiichi's task is to destroy this ruin. But the moment he touches the structure, the whole thing collapses on him. This has Artoria panicking as she tries to dig him out. Flashback shows that she always courts disaster for all those around her, hence the reason she lives alone. Luckily, Seiichi is still alive. Although relieved, Artoria lectures him about the importance of sensing danger if he is going to be an adventurer. Meanwhile, the other students are still training. Zakia Guilford, who is the leader of the Knights, feels bad that they are training these kids to fight against the Demon Lord when the war doesn't even concern them in the first place. He hates to see any one of them die, and in that sense, he is against this war. It is treason if anyone hears this. Seiichi and Saria have no place to sleep, so Artoria offers them a place to stay at the inn where she is staying. This shocks Guskel and Eris, but they see new hope for her. Seiichi and Saria accept her hospitality. Artoria has Seiichi and Saria undergo their first test. They are to gather medicinal herbs. While Saria excels, it seems Seiichi only manages to gather rare items. As he continues his search, he stumbles upon a group of demons. It looks like they're planning to set traps for humans. Although Seiichi didn't hear what they said, they think their plan is busted. Hence they call forth their troll to hammer him. Luckily, Seiichi absorbs its power, but before he could ask for the herbs, those demons got scared and ran away. They return to their boss, Leia Falzar, who punishes them for disobeying orders. But she thinks setting teleport traps to the Black Dragon's dungeon is too much. Artoria's next test is for them to go hunting. But just as they're about to begin with the slime, it vanishes. Artoria checks the place and realizes it is filled with teleport traps. She cancels the mission and is about to return to the guild to report when she trips over one. In their attempt to save her, Seiichi and Saria are teleported into the dungeon with her. Artoria gives them a guide stone in case they get separated. Right after that, she accidentally steps on a trigger and a wall separates them. The guide stone is of no use since it keeps banging into the wall. Seiichi and Saria make their way to a room with a treasure chest. Obviously suspicious. They don't want to open it, but the chest gets mad and starts to attack. Seiichi defeats it easily, and what pops out is a book that tells of its tragic history. Treasure chests were a must in dungeons until some newer item boxes replaced them. It got mad and wanted to interact with humans, starting to learn magic, only to be chased away by humans who thought it was a trap. So it wandered around places where it had fond memories. The chest drops unlucky items, an item that multiplies the wearer's luck by -2. As the guide stone glows in a different color, they realize Artoria is in trouble. That's because, after fighting her way through monsters, she finds herself in the room of the Black Dragon. She takes a beating until she is close to death. That is, until Seiichi and Saria pop up to save the day. When the guide stone was glowing, Seiichi just punched through the walls to get to where Artoria is. He leaves Saria to take care of Artoria while he faces the Black Dragon. For dramatic purposes, we see Seiichi losing badly, until he gets the cue to level up. He finally turns the tables and kills the dragon. More leveling up, and after picking up lots of loot, including some spatial magic that will conveniently teleport them out of here and straight back home, it's time for Seiichi to hear the dragon's story. Long ago, he was the deity of this land. But those humans wanted to kill him to make weapons out of his scales. The one who saved him was the Demon Lord. But he too got slain. Both of them were sealed in this dungeon as the Black Dragon vowed never to lose anything precious to him again. Then he received a note from Sheep congratulating him for clearing this dungeon, although he failed in the mission to allow the Black Dragon and Demon Lord to live together. Since Sheep will be away for a vacation, he doesn't want Seiichi to clear dungeons until his return. Returning to Telbert, Artoria demonstrates her -2 million luck. She feels that as long as she hangs around everyone, she'll bring bad luck to them. However, other guild members consider her a precious member. This happy news causes her to run away. Meanwhile, Leia is not happy to learn the Black Dragon has been defeated. She is unsure who it is, but she takes it as a sign that somebody is opposing the demons. As Seiichi looks for Artoria, he stumbles into Adriana, Artoria's best friend, who advises him to get closer to Artoria. Seiichi finds Artoria sitting alone at the ruins, so he takes Adriana's advice and hugs Artoria. He'll hold her this way till she loses her anxiety. Then Seiichi remembers he has a ring that could negate her bad luck and double it instead. After putting it on, her -2 million becomes a +4 million. Well, only if this didn't look like a proposal. There goes Artoria running away again. Artoria is avoiding Seiichi. Her face blushes whenever she sees him. While Saria goes to help the orphanage, Seiichi goes to gather information. He learns from Guskel about the recent event of another country summoning people from another world to fight the Demon Lord. Eris recommends the library, so Seiichi gets worried about his friends. Meanwhile, the king is impatient that Zakia hasn't had the summoned ones do practical training yet. His advisor, Helio Robon, suggests enrolling them at Barbador Magic Academy. This will also help show their nation's power to the world. But what if the kids disobey? Here are these enslavement bracelets to make them obey. Seiichi can't find any news at the library, but he acquires new skills. In town, Seiichi follows a scent to Cafe Acogliant and makes acquaintance with the bar master, Note, and a commoner, Rans. As Artoria is still confused, she stumbles into Adriana, who tells her that she is in love with Seiichi. Artoria is skeptical about whether she deserves to fall in love at first, but after realizing she loves Seiichi a lot, she really wants to be with him. Just leave that to Adriana. Similarly, Rans and Note learn about Seiichi putting a ring on Artoria's finger. That means swearing to eternal love. Can't back down from it, because you'll be executed, or at best, castrated. Seeing his reaction, they knew his heart was set on another girl. Either way, he must not give a vague answer and make a proper decision. Seiichi returns and faces Artoria. Before he can say anything, she kisses him. She confesses that she has fallen for him and wants to be with him. With Seiichi still undecided, here comes Saria. Saria tells Seiichi to accept Artoria. Saria has accepted that women will flock to strong men, and that she doesn't want to monopolize his charms. Now they can kiss and accept each other without doubt. And all the characters celebrate this happiness as though they'd gotten married. Seiichi has become a rank adventurer, and Guskel suggests it's time for Seiichi to get a horse of his own. As he goes to the stable, the owner introduces a few types of horse. And then this donkey, she beats the freak out of the owner because, unless you're stronger than her, nobody touches her. Seiichi's skill allows him to understand what the donkey's saying. She then attacks Seiichi, but with his stats, he easily overwhelms her. Now that Seiichi is stronger than her, Lulun agrees to have him as her master and will serve him for life. Then he'll take this donkey. Seiichi treats Lulun to all kinds of food. They stumble into Clay Berger, who is trying to convince this roadside painter, May Cherry, to enter a painting competition. May recognizes Seiichi since he bought some work from her, but she has too little self-confidence to enter, despite Clay seeing some potential in her. Seiichi says he is going to enter the Royal Cup race, and if he wins, May can use this as motivation to enter the painting competition that comes after. Lulun's motivation is, of course, the 5th prize, which is some tambuli fish. On race day, Lorna Kirizes of the Valkyries is the announcer as she announces the 2nd prize and shows sexy photos of their captain, Louise Bounce. The 1st prize is spending the day with the Valkyries. So while the other guys are up for this, Seiichi and Lulun will aim for 5th place. The no-holds-barred race begins as everyone makes a great start, except for Seiichi and Lulun. She's dragging her feet. It turns out that she was so excited for today's race that she forgot to eat breakfast, just in time for Seiichi's fruit of evolution to ripen. Seiichi gives the fruit to Lulun and starts to feel the power welling up. As the racers can knock each other off, do they now have to fight monster wolves too? Here comes Lulun, all powered up to zoom past them. Her stomp is so powerful, it kills those wolves. Even the big, bad wolf boss is no match. Seeing how powerful this donkey is, the competitors get scared and forfeit. But Seiichi and Lulun continue to race to the end and win it. The win, of course, spurs May to enter the painting competition. But Lulun is in despair that she didn't get the fish, with Seiichi comforting her that she'll have another chance, and that there are more delicious foods out there, and Lulun evolves into a hot humanoid girl. Artoria is so jealous that she gives Seiichi a beating. Artoria finds it hard to believe that Lulun is a donkey who has eaten the fruit, but Saria transforms into a gorilla to prove it. Lorna and Claudia Asterio are here to pick up Seiichi. Meanwhile, Leia, who is a division captain of the Demon Lord's army, meets with other division captains too: Zalua Waltora, Zelos Albarna, Jade Raven, Eurus Bashu, and Lyretta Valheim. They are summoned by Lucia Butt, who is the Demon Lord's daughter. It seems she wants to seek alliance with the human side, especially the Wimberg Kingdom. Her assistant, Kraze, is not amused because this goes against their principles. Even more so, her father was sealed by those pesky humans. However, Lucia believes they have to move on and build friendly relationships on both sides. Leia then reports the defeat of the Black Dragon, who lost to a human named Seiichi. When she summoned the dragon's soul, Leia wanted to gather an army to seek revenge. But the Black Dragon didn't want it because he was challenged fair and square. He had no regrets. With Lucia bent on moving forward, Kraze tries to remind her about the prophecy that would bring calamity to their kind. The division captains threaten to kill Kraze for disobedience, so the fat pig runs away. The division captains pledge their loyalty to her, while Kraze hatches another unholy plot. Seiichi is brought to Louise. He sees her sparring with other Valkyries and easily beats them. Seiichi is going to have a mock battle with Louise. He is left dodging her attacks, and he levels up, enough to knock the sword out of her hands. Suddenly, an impressed Louise wants to call him master. Later, Louise and Claudia tell Seiichi the truth. Despite the fact that Louise can't use any skills or magic, her swordsmanship is top-notch. She has been so strong since a young age that nobody rivals her. In a way, it isolated her and made her lonely. Seiichi saved her from that. Seiichi understands what it's like to be a loner, so he'll be his teacher. He now possesses the ability to instruct. But today's lesson will be put off since they received reports that somebody attacked the king. Louise tells Seiichi to go home for today, but since he has come all the way here, he won't back out. Using his newly acquired skill, he manages to pinpoint the assassin and even see her identity. Seiichi finds out she is Olga Kamiria, a young girl. Seiichi confronts Kamiria and dodges all her attacks. When she becomes persistent in taking him down, he knocks her out unconscious. With the other Valkyries arriving, they let Seiichi know that their king has been cursed with a spell to sleep forever, and it can't be undone. Not that anyone knows, but Seiichi thinks he can. When he is taken before the king, he is shocked to learn that he is Ran's. Florio, who is Louise's brother and leader of the magic division, can't even heal him. Seiichi tries to heal the king, but the magic reverses the curse and turns it into a blessing. Now the king will have eternal health. Rans wakes up to see Seiichi, and after learning that he saved his life, he will reward him with anything. So Seiichi is having a bath with the king. Rans tells of his dream, whereby the entire world is equal. No fighting, everyone can sit down together like this. Elsewhere, Seiichi's girls are talking about him. Artoria was worried he might bring back another girl, but Saria isn't fazed and believes in Seiichi. Meanwhile, Karen and his friends notice that the heroes have been ostracized, and they are confronted about it by his classmates, who are convinced that it is because they are strong. Zakia is disheartened to learn that the heroes have been sent to Barbador. He is worried that the heroes might turn against them. But Helio sees no worries, as he has put enslavement bracelets on them. Suddenly, someone tries to snipe the king. Zakia protects him but must go find the culprit. The king wonders who the assassin is. Helio tells him about Rand's trying to form an alliance with Lucia. But the king isn't worried and has sent a certain assassin girl to do the job. Seiichi's girls visit him. Artoria was ready to beat him up upon knowing he got another woman. Artoria even blaming Saria that she was the one worried about him that he would get another girl. The girls weirdly introduce themselves. Saria is the wife, Artoria is the girlfriend, and Lulun is the servant. After today's events, nothing surprises Louise. In fact, she is proud to have him as her master. Meanwhile, Olga is tied up and prepared to be interrogated by Lorna. Lorna is planning to do some painful torture on Olga to get her to talk. It turns out the torture is teasing her with food. Seiichi doesn't approve of this bully tactic, and so does Louise. Hence Louise punishes Lorna with no dinner. Treating Olga with kindness is the right way to make this cat girl talk. Meanwhile, Zakia wonders what he has been protecting all this time. When he confronted Sheen, the culprit who sniped at the king, he was called a puppet. Sheen is doing this as revenge against the country because they killed his beloved Naturiana. She was a nice demon girl, but the king's orders to exterminate demons led to her death, and she was just selling flowers. Since then, he vowed revenge. Of course, Sheen knows he is no match for Zakia, and escapes. Next time, he hopes when they fight, he will not be a puppet. Seiichi is having a trouble removing Olga's enslavement collar. He tries what he did for Rans, but since he cannot picture freedom, he imagines America's Lincoln president, and the collar comes off. Olga tells how the Kaiser Empire discriminates against beastfolk people like her. Many were taken and trained as killing machines, and those who survived became assassins. And that was how Olga lived her life and took many. Seiichi gives her hope that she can start over again and wants to take her in. Saria and Louise give her blessing. Meanwhile, Helio and Kraze are in cohorts together as they make plans to revive the demon lord. Seiichi and his girls practice magic, but soon Louise needs a favor to ask of him. Because she will be away with her Valkyries to assist the Black Paladin to fight growing number of monsters appearing at the border, she needs him to help protect Rans while she is away. And so the Valkyries depart, leaving the kingdom in Seiichi's capable hands. Seiichi continues to improve his magic by level, and he obtains new skills. Duskull and Eris are here, and they have brought Barnabas to see Rans. Barney Barna is the greatest mage who has mastered all magic. Florio was a big otaku diehard fan of his, while Rans was his student. It seems he is here to complain about how students were summoned from another world to his Barbador Academy, and they have been nothing but trouble. Before Seiichi could piece the puzzle together, a guard reported that monsters were seen marching towards the gates of Telbert. 5,000 boss-level monsters. With the Valkyries away dealing with the monsters at the border, Louise is going to be extra worried when she receives a report from home. This is all a setup from Kraze because he thinks he can take down Telbert now that the Valkyries are away. But he doesn't know about the Crazy Guild, because these are all who are going to protect Telbert. In addition to the muscle power from Guskull and the receptionist Queen Eris. Screw logic and physics. Somehow these guys can power up and destroy these boss-level monsters like easy pies. And they don't need to bring out the trump card, Seiichi, yet. While Seiichi just sits back and watches while giving snarky comeback comments. When they think they've ended this fight, it looks like more monsters are coming. A big boss-grade monster god level. Big boss-grade monsters pushing everyone back. Seiichi is worried his wide-range spell will hit anyone indiscriminately. He thought of something, and just like God, the lightning strikes of justice dispense divine retribution and kill only the monsters. And just like that, they've won. The divine retribution even stretches as far as striking Craze. More loot for Seiichi as he levels up to the extreme. Barna is so excited to see this original spell of his that he is squealing like a little girl. He wants Seiichi to become a teacher at Barbador. But Seiichi declines, since he promised Louise he would wait for her return, and also because he doesn't want to leave his friends behind. But Barna will turn them into students or teaching faculty. Since the girls will go wherever he goes and Seiichi longs for his school life again, that's settled. They'll leave once Louise returns. In the meantime, Seiichi takes turns dating his girls, even with him thanking and confessing his love to Saria. But short of kissing her because cheeky kids were watching and accusing him of making Saria cry. Before we forget about that art competition, check out this abstract art from Clay. But the winning entry goes to May because she drew a handsome and gallant Seiichi riding a donkey. With renewed hope, she tells him that she is going to Emuria to study the arts. She hopes that when she returns, she can use him as her first art subject. Louise returns, and her worries are blown away seeing how safe the city is. Now to foreshadow something dark. Praise and other demons are before the demon lord, who is not pleased that his resurrection is delayed. He needs more chaos and despair upon his return. Hence, it is suggested they target Barbador since there is lots of fresh young blood there. Meanwhile, Karen and his friends bump into Eri Sito. She claims she is Seiichi's childhood friend and thought Seiichi might have teleported here too. She explains that Seiichi has not many friends, but he once saved her. If they see him, please tell him that Eri is looking for him. Everyone says goodbye to Seiichi and his girls as they leave for Barbador. Thank you for watching till the end, and please don't forget to subscribe.